Okay, so another super trailer has showed up, and it was seen by a limited audience, so it's not on the internet or something. But we do have some spy reports of it, and well, a lot of people that saw it have posted their reaction, and they all say they're all very positive. Yet in the spy reports, I sort of got feeling, there were a lot of great stuff, but I also sometimes got feeling not necessarily negative stuff, but they reminded me a lot of the leaked script we once got to see, and yeah, nothing that reminds me of that script is ever gonna be positive. And I must say, I never read it. I only heard a lot about it. I've read a lot about it, and so I've never read the actual original leaked script. But yeah, I've a basic understanding of what's inside it. So the trailer opened with the 20th Century Fox and Walden Media logos, and then they showed us a shot of a window oddly tilted 90 degrees, and the camera began to pan out and the window returned to vertical. As it did so, more and more of the large, heavily ornamented building was revealed, featuring some attractive masonry, including lions' heads. And the guess of Christie was that this was a place in our world. She guessed Oxford, so it's somewhere in England, so it's not in Narnia. And I guess I was thinking maybe this is the opening of the movie, but I don't really get why they tilt the camera 90 degrees. It also says that it was oddly, so it wasn't really feeling right. So I don't really get why they did it. And we'll have to wait for the shot when it's in the trailer. I hope it's in the trailer, because I'm sort of worried that the opening begins with a ugly shot, which would be terrible. I mean, a movie opening is like important. So they really can't do like a weird camera angle or something. And then the camera zooms out, and this heavily ornamented building with lion heads is revealed, and I was thinking, like, are they gonna make this like a usual thing we can expect in every movie? Like in Prince Caspian, there was this lion statue at the station, and now they're showing these lion heads. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's what they'll do in every movie. Maybe the school of Eustace in Silver Chair will be like decorated with lions or something, or the little back door they take is like has a lion head on it or something. I don't know. I always think it's pretty odd. I mean, it worked in Prince Caspian, but it's not necessarily gonna work every time. So maybe it works again this time. We'll have to see. And then the next scene that was described is at Eustace's house. So at Eustace's house, we're shown a scene in which Edmund asks Lucy if she has seen the paintings in the room they're in, and she says yes, and that it looks like a Narnia ship. The painting in question shows mostly water, with a minuscule ship far off in the distance near the right edge of the horizon. She cries, "The painting!" Eustace, seeing the movement within the frame, says something about destroying the picture and pulls it off the wall, and water starts gushing out, and Edmund warns him to stop. Eustace drops the painting, and soon the room is flooded until the children are underwater. When they surface, they are in the Eastern Sea, and the prow of the Dawn Treader is pointing directly towards Lucy and rapidly approaching, at which point she calls out, "Edmund!" Yeah, so I think this is pretty good news. It sounds pretty much like in the book, except for Eustace actually trying to destroy the picture. I don't think that's in the book, but yeah, I sort of like this. It's like in the book. There was another little report that said that Eustace and Edmund and Lucy swim out of the window of the house, and then they surface. But that would be a little weird. I mean, in the book the room is is upstairs. It would be sort of weird to swim out of a window upstairs because you fall down, of course. So that would be sort of odd, but maybe it works. I don't know. And maybe, you know, they just meant that they swim through the gap that was created by the painting that was torn off. I also like the design of the painting, and they just say there's a little ship just somewhere in the background, which I think is amazing. I mean, that's exactly how I pictured. I never really pictured a giant ship. And in one clip we see Eustace sitting on deck, attempting to start up a conversation with a seagull. When a Minotaur standing near the helm asks him what he's doing, Eustace says, "I just naturally assumed." And the Minotaur lets out a bellowing laugh and says, "He talks to birds." Yeah, and then I'm not really sure about it. I think this could be a typical Eustace moment, just like being smart as, you know, all the creatures are talking, this seagull will be talking as well. But on the other hand, I think it's just, you know, what I always liked about the crew of the Dawn Treader, when Eustace was like moaning and like annoying and irritating, they always sort of you know, not that they were friendly, but at least they were respectful to him. And I always liked the fact that they're respectful to this guy. It's like really noble, you know, being respectful to someone who isn't respectful to you. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's just a little joke, and it could work really well if they're doing it right. I'm just hoping that they're not just having a laugh all the time with Eustace. At one point, standing before the book, Lucy apparently causes it to snow, and then it seemed to remind her of first entering in Narnia, in Lion, Witch and Wardrobe, and later in the trailer she looks into the book and sees a picture of herself that morphs into the face of her sister Susan. So I guess Anna Popplewell is actually gonna make a small appearance, which I don't bother. I mean, if it fits the scene, it fits the scene. And this could really fit the scene. Then I like the fact that she makes it snow if it's reminiscent to Lion, Witch and Wardrobe, because I loved how Lucy reacted to Narnia. I know at one point, I know Glumbottle actually made a point. The children in the book, they're like, "Isn't this strange?" And in the movie they're like, "Whoa, isn't this wonderful?" And I know, but I still couldn't help myself. I loved how she smiled and like reached out at the snow and stuff. And yeah, I always loved the first time we see Narnia in Lion, Witch and Wardrobe. It's just amazing and the music that was written by Harry Gregson Williams there is just amazing. Then in another clip we see Koryakin unfurl the enchanted map. I like this scene, I guess, because I always liked, you know, Lord of the Rings scene, where Faramir and Damrod are actually discussing their situation, and maps that are like printed on parchment and stuff. I just love it, and this is an enchanted map, so it's made by magic, and that could really be a special scene. So I love it's in there.